Each month, collaborations like Handmade Creations bring together dozens of incredible indie makers, each sharing their own unique interpretations of a common theme. Rather than trying to show everything, I love taking the time to slow down and explore the polishes that genuinely capture my attention. Today, I'll be sharing the colors, finishes, and stories that stood out to me, along with the personal connections and collection thoughts they inspire. Whether or not they ultimately make it into my cart, these are the 19 items that invited me to pause, look a little closer, and imagine the place they might someday hold within my collection. So let's open this month's catalog for Handmade Creations, August 2026. This catalog is extra big this month because of the addition of the Hellaween 2026 shop. Let's begin exploring together. This ravishing red is the first one that caught my eye. This one is by 1422 Designs and it's called Miss Scarlet with the Knife. This one is listed here as being a capped pre-order polish, and looking down through the description, it says that this one has a 100 cap. What that means is that this maker, 1422 Designs, is committing to creating 100 of these polishes, and then after that, it's considered sold out. 1422 Designs continues their Game Night series with a polish inspired by Clue. Miss Scarlet with the Knife is a juicy red polish with red magnetic pigment and holographic flakes. This red magnetic polish is just purely beautiful. It has such interest, and I can clearly see the holographic flakes on this swatcher's nails. I think that in natural lighting, this polish would just be out of this world incredible. I'm really loving what I'm seeing here. It's really quite a full, deep red. Like, this one is really making me think of a fall winter type red. It's very rich, it's luscious, and I love that there's a bit of a warmth that I'm seeing in this deep, luscious bottle of polish in the bottle shot. I think it's a really interesting look. The inspiration for this one also, when I saw the polish name, really got me. Clue was a favorite game of mine when I was growing up, and I can remember my sister didn't like it at all. So anytime I had the chance to play the game Clue, I felt so fortunate, so lucky. Like, we'd often sort of make a deal. She's my younger sister, and so I'd sort of be like, okay, well, we'll do something you want, but then can you play Clue with me? So it was always such a treat to be able to play. And I think to this day, too, my love for the game Clue when I was quite young continues on with my guilty pleasure of reading Agatha Christie books and also watching old reruns of Murder, She Wrote. And there's a Canadian show, Murdoch Mysteries, as well, that has my heart. So yeah, there's just so much about this polish. It's the look of this polish, it's the name of this polish, and it's just the memories that I have. This one kind of ticks all those boxes, and I would love to add this polish to my collection. This lovely red magnetic is by 1422 Designs, Miss Scarlet with the Knife. This cool colored flaky polish is by Arcana Lacquers, Shadowfell Orchid. Now, this one's a solar polish, and that's why we're seeing this color variation here. This one is also a capped offering, and looking down here, there is a cap of 240 being made available. Arcana Lacquer begins a new fantastical flora and fauna series with the first polish inspired by night orchids from Baldur's Gate 3. Shadowfell Orchid has a light teal base that turns deep slate in UV with purple shimmer and black flakes. That color description is so interesting to me because I think what my eye is picking up here is sort of a pale sky blue with lots of shimmer, of course. It's a lovely purple shimmer is what my eye is seeing. And then moving into this lovely lavender color. And that variation is caused by the solar effect. So it's really quite interesting to me that the description here for this polish is saying that it's a light teal base that turns deep slate in UV with purple shimmer and black flakes. So I guess to me, either that purple shimmer is like kind of taking over this swatch photo, or perhaps this polish, to the maker's eye anyway, maybe in person, has more of a teal, so like a turquoise type look, leaning to deep slate, so like a gray blue. I think for me, that reinforces the importance of me doing my research before I decide to make a purchase. What I'm seeing here is beautiful, but also what I'm reading about sounds equally beautiful. It's just the two of them for me aren't jiving in my mind, I guess. I think here in this swatch photo, I am seeing more of a teal turquoise type base color. No matter what though, I am really liking what I see. That is quite a difference though between those two swatch photos. And the depth of this color here, which I believe is under UV light, so natural sunlight or with UV light applied, this is a very striking color combination. No matter what, with the look of this polish, part of the reason why I added this to my cart is I own nothing in my collection that looks anything like this. I just think the components within this polish are quite a standout. And then I am seeing that purple shimmer really kind of take over, and it's a deepened kind of a grade look on the ring and pinky finger. But I really have nothing else that looks like this. I will have to do some further research with this polish. At this point, this one I think is a maybe. The inspiration sounds beautiful. I'm not really a gamer, so I don't know anything about Baldur's Gate 3. So the inspiration in that sense doesn't mean anything to me, but floral certainly means something to me. And the idea of orchids, I mean, I could see that absolutely in terms of orchids in real life. But it really is just this combination of components here. It's that solar effect. It's whatever's happening with the colors. And then this prominent shimmer is stunning. And the flakies within it to add that level of interest and grounding. I think the overall look of this polish is unique and it's incredibly promising. So this one is a maybe for me at this point. I'll have to make sure that I really understand what I'd be receiving if I do decide to add this to my cart and order this polish, but I appreciate the originality here quite a bit. This lovely solar polish is by Arcana Lacquer Shadowfell Orchid. This richly unique color is by BCB Lacquer's Oh You Poor Sheltered Boy. This one is another capped offering with only 300 being made available. BCB Lacquers continues their Supernatural series with a polish inspired by Rowena. Oh You Poor Sheltered Boy is a burnt orange neon crelly with a strong purple-pink shifting shimmer. This is the type of colorway that appeals to me so much right now, here in August. What my eye is picking up, and I mean, this may sound kind of bizarre, I've been kind of obsessed with the idea of sunshine on the nails. There's no yellow in this one. I know, work with me here. But for me, there's something about this colorway that looks like a deep, late summer sunset. You know, when the sky just turns those deep, deep colors of orange and fuchsia, it's got that magical kind of effect. That's what is coming to my mind when I look at a polish like this one. It looks so saturated and striking. I love here that this description is calling this one a burnt orange neon crelly. Like the fact that you can have an orange that is as deep as this one is and still have it be considered a neon. I can only imagine that the vibrancy, the saturation must just be out of this world. And then the contrast of that strong purple pink shimmer against that burnt orange neon crelly. Like, I would love to see a polish like this one in person. Growing up, the idea of orange and a fuchsia together, a hot pink, was a favorite color combination. And that stems back from an old cardigan that I had. It was store-bought, but it had quite a hand-knit look. It was a bright orange, kind of a tweedy yarn and quite chunky as well. So that tweedy orange look kind of had like the Chanel blazer kind of tweedy effect. And then there was this edging of a bright fuchsia pink around the neckline, the button band, the cuffs. And there was something about that contrast. I had that sweater at the end of high school and when I was in university, and I can just remember I always felt so stylish wearing that cardigan. It was fun, but yet it had like that classic kind of Chanel blazer shape. And it was far from that. It was very much a discount find for me, but that look has always remained with me. And so orange and pink has always remained a favorite color combination from that sweater. This is truly unique to anything I have in my collection. I can only imagine that this would come alive in natural lighting. Burnt orange, neon crelly with a strong purple pink shifting shimmer. This one to me looks like sunset on the nails. It does have lovely warm fall vibes to it, to me anyway. This swatch photo is very much making my heart swoon. I mean, this is divine to me. I love this color combination. This one is a pretty strong pick for me this month. I'm just loving the overall effect. This wonderful rich shimmer polish is by BCP Lacquers. Oh, you poor sheltered boy. I'm excited to say that from this lead photo, I'm seeing some reflective glitter in this polish. One of my favorite components. This one is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, Sanguine, My Brother. This one is another capped offering with only 500 being made available. Bee's Knees Lacquers continues their Oblivion series. Sanguine, My Brother is a blood red polish with silver and red reflective glitters, matte black flakes, and red to black microflakes. Note, because of the glitter, this will have a thicker formula. I'm loving here how this polish kind of blends the Bee's Knees Lacquer regular offering, continuing their Oblivion series. But this one also, to my mind, has a bit of a Halloween-y type lean. Even though this one isn't technically part of the Hellaween collection, this one is very much the type of polish that I would pull for Halloween season wear. So the reflective glitter, I mentioned that continues to be one of my favorite components in nail polish. There's this magical, undeniable sparkle that happens with reflective glitter that is just unlike what you can get with any other component. I realize that a lot of the fun with reflective glitter comes when people put it under flash photography. For me, that type of effect really means nothing, but I just love the way the reflective glitter, it's so fine. It tends to pick up the light no matter what type of lighting I'm in, whether it's natural sunlight, room lighting, shifting lighting is maybe my favorite. It's got this magical twinkle, unlike any other component that I've come across. The richness of this color, I absolutely agree. It's described as a blood red polish. That is exactly the type of color that I'm seeing here. This one, again, for me, has a lot of those fall and winter vibes. Fall has very much become my favorite season lately, and I actually can't wait for it to arrive. I think I would rush to putting a polish like this one on my nails. It's the depth and richness of the color, and it's got that magical element here happening with the reflective glitter. It has the grounding effect of the matte black flakes, as well as the addition of red to black microflakes. That combination could be really quite interesting. My eye isn't quite yet picking up the difference between those two different types of black flakes, the matte black flakes and then the red to black microflakes. Perhaps a hover over top, I can see it a little bit more. You know what? I am actually seeing a little bit more. I am seeing more of that redness. Actually, it's almost like my eye is picking up a really fiery type of flake happening there. It's almost like red to pink to purple that my eye is picking up, sort of in, there we go, this area right here. Yeah, a really interesting look. With so much happening in this polish, I think this one would be another one that would be magical in real life. The warmth of that red, the edge of the flakes, the sparkle of the reflective glitters. And for me, the overall look is a little bit of a rebellious look. I don't know. There's something about it. I like it. It's edgy. It's fall, it's winter, it's Halloween. And I think it might even surprise me and go beyond that. I'm really loving the overall look of this polish. This is another one that I would be very happy to add to my collection. This complex red polish with the reflective glitter and flakies is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, Sanguine, My Brother. This one is the first polish in my preliminary wish list that is directly from the feature shop, the Hellaween shop for 2026. This one is by Danny Viana. This is their Hellaween offering, and this one is called Carving Jack. Another reflective polish. This one is another capped offering with only 200 being made available. By Danny Viana has created a polish for Hellaween. Carving Jack has a clear base with orange reflective glitters, black shreds, and luminous orange iridescent flakes. When I see this polish, this one absolutely, first of all, screams Halloween to me. This one does look like a jack-o'-lantern on the nails. It also would be a fall polish for me, but that's, I think, where it would stop. I see this one only in my life as a fall season polish, and right there, for how much I like this polish, in fact, I kind of love the look of this polish in terms of its artistry, It is a little bit limiting in my collection in terms of how I would wear it. So that's something I'll have to consider and be careful about. With my collection growing as large as it is, I like to make sure that my polishes are generally wearable throughout the year. And this one I view as being more of a novelty polish for just one season, fall, including Halloween. So that's an interesting thing for me. Now, in this swatch photo, it doesn't say so explicitly, but it looks like what we're seeing here is the by Danny Viana polish on top of something else. There is some sort of a base coat happening here that is covering up the swatcher's nail. I kind of wish that it said what it was so we knew whether it was just some sort of a like neutralizing base coat where it provides a little bit of a very slight base color, or if it's an actual creme or a creme polish underneath. I can't really be sure. But no matter what, I am seeing how this one looks as kind of a topper. And those components in the polish, I think, are so whimsical and just bang on perfect. It's a work of art representing carving a jack-o'-lantern. I'm clearly seeing the twinkle of the reflective glitters. There are huge, dramatic black shreds that for me are kind of emulating the face that you'd be carving into a jack-o'-lantern, the negative space that you'd be getting. And then you've got these luminous orange iridescent flakes. There are a lot of those. My eye is really enjoying all the different shifts that you're getting from these orange iridescent flakes. And in fact, they're kind of ghostly looking back there. It almost looks like they recede into something that's more of like a greenish, bluish aqua kind of thing when they're not picking up the light. I think the shift in the light between the iridescent flakes and then those reflective glitters as well, like this would be Halloween magic on the nails. I do want to focus more on some of the photos without any sort of a base coat underneath, although those swatch photos were really gorgeous. This one is quite a sheer polish, and it is described as having a clear base. This one does not look like it would be a polish that would give you full opacity, although who knows, maybe with enough layers you could get the flakies acting to fill in that visible nail line a little bit more, but I honestly don't know that that would be the type of look I'd be after. For me, it's a lot about this magic that's happening by seeing these jack-o'-lantern type components over the natural nail. I'm just in love with the overall artistry of this polish. I think honestly, one look at this polish from anybody, not even in the nail polish world, and they would say, oh, it looks like jack-o'-lantern, like guts on the nails. Like it looks like that type of an effect. Like it really is a work of art. And with my polish collection growing as big as it is, I am really drawn to work of art polishes, ones that are unlike anything I've ever seen, that original factor, unique factor. The one thing that is holding me back a little bit with this one is just how seasonal it is. I really can't see myself wearing this one in winter, spring, or summer at all. This one is purely fall and especially Halloween. But I mean, it really is so unique and beautiful that it would be a welcome addition to my collection. I think I'll have to see how the rest of my wish list goes to see where this one stands. This jack-o'-lantern for the nails is by Danny Viana. This is their Halloween offering called Carving Jack. This vivid magnetic is by Cleona Cosmetics, and this one is called Intrinsic. Cleona Cosmetics continues their Fourth Wing Signet series with a polish inspired by the signet of mind reading, which is a death sentence to those who gain it. Intrinsic is a lavender peach yellow shifting magnetic that pulls to reveal a hot orange yellow lime shifting large particle shimmer and a dusting of silver holographic flakes. And luckily here, for the first time in this month's wish list, this one has no cap. So what that means is that in this case, the maker, Cleona Cosmetics, can produce as many polishes as are required to fulfill all orders this month. So that is fantastic news for me. Whereas all the other polishes at this point do have a chance of selling out with limits to what the creators can make, this one could potentially be available in unlimited quantity. Cleona Cosmetics is a Canadian brand located in my home province of Ontario, Canada, and this is a brand that I try to support at every turn, not just through Handmade Creations, but by purchasing from them directly through their own website. I love them because they're Canadian, but I also love them because they do an incredible job of producing nail polishes of the most wonderful quality. There is a lot of magic happening in this magnetic. You've got those color shifts happening here. My eye is predominantly picking up a lot of purple in this swatch collage. It is described as being a lavender peach yellow shifting magnetic that pulls to reveal a hot orange, yellow, lime shifting large particle shimmer. And then my eye is really picking up the silver holographic flakes. For me, that's actually quite a special effect. That was the first one in my preliminary wish list alphabetically. And I'm really liking the addition of the holographic to a magnetic polish. From the swatch photos, it's adding quite an interesting sparkle. I'm really loving the dramatic difference that we're seeing between the magnetic line and the base color with this polish in the cat eye style. You're really seeing that deep, actually, I'm almost seeing like a red purple, like a burgundy wine kind of color in that background. And then very much like an electric purple magnetic line going through, maybe with a little bit of blue, which is interesting because I'm not really seeing blue mentioned so much in the description. There's a lavender described here. So I think this one would be a very shifty magnetic where you're seeing lots of variation. I'm really loving here in this swatch photo where I'm seeing on the swatcher's index finger up near the cuticle area, I am seeing very much that shift of lavender peach yellow. Like I am seeing that peach yellow effect up near the cuticle on the index finger. This color variation is something that I think Clionadh Cosmetics does so beautifully. Now, in all these swatch photos, I'm pretty clear on what I'm seeing here with the cat eye style. That one's pretty obvious with a magnetic line that goes across. But what I'm not quite sure about is which of these swatch photos we're seeing with the swatcher using the velvet magnetic effect and where we're perhaps seeing the swatcher just using no magnetic effect, just the polish on its own, not magnetized. I wish I kind of knew that from these swatch photos. I'm kind of guessing that because of that dimensionality I think my eye is seeing, maybe on the swatcher, this is Caitlin swatches, so I'm seeing maybe on the middle finger and the pinky finger, perhaps one of those fingers might be showing a velvet treatment with the magnetic effect, whereas maybe one of them might be showing an unmagnetized effect. I really can't be sure. The one thing I do know is since this is definitely Caitlin Swatch's swatch photo, I know that she does do video footage as well on YouTube. So I'm going to go over to that video before I make my decision to make sure that I can really see what this polish is doing in motion, to see what it looks like with different magnetic effects applied. But I do know that I'm really loving the way this one looks in the cat eye style. And with all that color variation that I'm seeing listed in the description, I'm really sure that it would be equally as spectacular in real life with the velvet magnetic effect. I have a little bit of research to do with this one, but I am really enjoying what I'm seeing so far. This beautiful purple-leaning magnetic is by Clionadh Cosmetics, Intrinsic. This is a second offering by Clionadh Cosmetics. There's actually 3 in their shop this month, but this is the second one and the last one of theirs that I have on my wish list. This one is from the Hellaween offering. So this is Clionadh Cosmetics from the Hellaween shop, and this one is called Black Widow. Clionadh Cosmetics has created a polish for Hellaween inspired by the Black Widow spider. Black Widow has a black base with a subtle red shimmer, red metallic shreds, and silver holographic glitter. Again, there is no availability cap for this polish. Now for this polish, there is no question about what I'm seeing here. I do not have to do any further research. I know that I love the look of this rich, vampy, mysterious polish. This one absolutely has a lot of Halloween vibes. But also for me, I could see myself wearing this one in fall and also throughout the winter as well. This one could be an interesting, edgy take on like a Valentine's Day type polish also. It's got that interesting, rich depth that would be an edgy pick for something like Valentine's Day. There's something so elegant about this polish in an edgy way that I'm seeing here. I find that the twinkle that you're getting from the holographic glitter, also from the other components, I mean, that red shimmer is really adding an interesting kind of sparkle. And as well, the red metallic shreds would add a sparkle all their own. There's a lot happening in this polish, but it's really the richness, the mystery, and the depth that's grabbing my attention. Oh, like the look for me of the red shimmer against this black base, it looks like there's embers smoldering away in the depths of this polish. It actually looks like it's lit. And that for me is a magical look for the nails. For all its depth and its richness, I think that the sparkle element really adds a lovely contrast to all of that too. Somehow perhaps lightening this or maybe elevating it to also a very special occasion type deep polish. I would love to see this on my own nails out in my own life, just to see how this one plays in different light, in different scenarios, including Halloween. I just think this one is a special polish. This one is another one this month that is a very strong contender on my wish list. No further research needed for me. This deep black-based polish with the red elements is by Cleona Cosmetics. This is from the Hellaween shop, and this one is called Black Widow. For something strikingly different from that last deep polish, this much brighter polish is by Cracked Polish, and this one is called Hazy Days. This one is listed as being another capped offering with only 350 being made available. Cracked Polish continues their It's Not You, It's the Weather series. Hazy Days is a warm brown jelly with green to blue shimmer. I've been following this series by Cracked Polish across the last several months. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think this series may have been going on almost a year. I'm impressed by the entire series, no matter how long it's been going on. It seems like moods and the weather just have an unlimited source of inspiration, and I actually hope that we see Cracked Polish continuing with this series as long as the maker feels inspired to do so. I have many from this series. With this polish, unlike some of the other polishes that I've added to my preliminary wish list at this point, this one spans many different seasons, many different months. I could see this polish as being quite versatile in my life. I definitely see this one as a nice warm spring type color. I think that this polish has a lot of summer appeal as well. It does have that brightness and the lovely shimmer running through the polish. This one also, to me, gives a warmth for fall days. It's maybe a little bit of an unexpected color choice for fall days, although it is described as having a warm brown jelly base. Here, my eye is kind of picking up more of like a pinkish coral type base color, but I'll click into more swatch photos to see if I can see that brown effect. But it could be a brighter take on what I typically wear for a fall polish. And even in the winter, it's got some sort of a cozy warmth happening here, and that might be the contrast between the base and the shimmer. That lovely glow. Oh wow, here in this swatch photo for sure, there is no doubt that this would be the type of polish that I would be drawn to in the fall. Here I am seeing a much richer take on like an orange, almost leaning towards a brown, but I guess really a brown is very much just the deepest, darkest kind of orange. So that makes sense. But yeah, I'm really liking this one. I think this one would be highly versatile in my collection. Not only that, but a good shimmer polish is always welcome for my collection. I do tend to pull shimmers more than almost any other type of finish for the ease of application and also the ease of removal during busy days, especially busy work days. This one is another top contender on my wish list. I'm really quite excited about this one. This lovely shimmer polish with the warm, cool contrast. This one is by Cracked Polish, Hazy Days. This very unique purple polish is by Cuticula, Starling Stunner. Cuticula continues their Birds of a Feather series. Starling Stunner is a deep violet full of purple-pink shifting shimmer and red holographic sparkle. And luckily for this polish, there is no availability cap. This one, I can tell you right now, is another top contender on my wish list. If I do make my purchase this month, I will almost for sure have this one added to my cart. And what it is for this one is I am so curious about how this formula might apply to my nails. I've really never seen anything quite like this, I don't think, by Cuticula. I think that this seems, to me anyway, like a new type of finish for them. I don't think I've ever spotted anything quite like this offered by Cuticula. If you know of another polish by Cuticula that has this type of a finish, please let me know, because this is appealing to me more than I can even really articulate. This one to me looks like a must try. The thing that kind of has my jaw on the floor for this polish is even in these stills that we're seeing for this Cuticula offering, I can see the sparkle in these stills. That's a really hard thing to capture sometimes. Sometimes you need the video effect to really indicate the potency of that sparkle. And I'm really seeing it here, especially where you've got the foreground hand, the swatcher's left hand, that's in the foreground. You can sort of see a more crisp look at all the components in the polish. And then you've got the background hand. This is such a smart swatch photo. You can see that background hand and that blur where you can really see that sparkle in the showcase. Like it is really something special. And the fact that you can see that effect in a still photograph, I have the feeling that in real life, this polish would just be absolutely a knockout. This polish really does have a lovely deep violet color. That's the type of purple that I do tend to be very drawn to in the fall, but also throughout the year. Purple is a color that I go to 4 seasons a year, even the deep purples. Of all things, it tends to be a color that I am especially drawn to in May. It seems like in May, flowers around my area in this type of deep purple are just so prevalent. Crocuses, hyacinths, tulips, and then later in the month, the deepest, darkest, rich purple lilacs. It's such an iconic May color in my area in Ontario, Canada. And so for me, this actually would be quite a versatile polish, along with being such an intriguing polish with this finish. I mean, that red holographic sparkle is so potent in here. I can see it on the swatcher's nails, and I can clearly see it here in the nail polish bottle. I don't really need to think about this polish any further. I am absolutely going to be adding this one to my shopping cart, and hopefully I can make a purchase this month. I do have to watch the budget. I have been purchasing a little bit more quantity than the budget should be allowing lately, so I do have to be a little bit careful. But if I do make a purchase this month, this one I think will for sure be coming home with me. I am so in love with the color combination. It's versatile in my life, a 4 season of the year polish. This finish, like I can't wait to see it in person. If the sparkle in real life is even just matched with what we're seeing here in still photos, I think this one would be just dazzling. This incredible purple is by Cuticula Starling Stunner. This sparkly reflective glitter polish is by Danglefoot Nail Polish, Look For Me by the Moonlight. This one is another capped offering, and I can't even believe what I'm seeing here. There are only 75 of these being made available this month. That is a very small availability cap. So if this one does make the final cut for me, if I do make a purchase this month, I will have to consider making my purchase earlier, close to when the shop opens. It opens this month, August 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, just to make sure that I might be able to acquire this polish if it makes the final cut. Danglefoot Nail Polish continues their English literature series with a polish inspired by the Highwayman poem. Look For Me by the Moonlight has rose gold chrome flakes mixed with black microflakes and a sprinkling of silver reflective glitter. This is another polish where really everything is checking all the boxes. Really everything about it is appealing to me. First of all, this theme. I'm really hoping that Danglefoot Nail Polish can continue on this theme really as long as they still feel inspired, because there is so much that you can do with a theme like this one. English literature, and in this case, the poem, The Highwayman. I love the way that this maker has interpreted this moonlight aspect on the nails. It is absolutely magical. And what a poem. Even just reading the description of this, it very much has brought me back to high school when we definitely studied The Highwayman and many other poems. And I can remember in high school, poetry was not my favorite area. It just seemed like people could read things into poetry that I just never could see when I was in high school. But there was something about poems like The Highwayman where there was just such a beauty to the storytelling, the rhythm. I mean, it was dark subject matter as well. It certainly created an overall effect and mood that was really magical and almost like mesmerizing. It would cast a spell when we read this poem. I haven't actually heard this poem probably since high school. Now it makes me want to take a bit of a deep dive into some classic poetry and just revisit it as an adult, breathing new life into it with an adult perspective. Oh my goodness, this is breathtaking. Like, back to this polish though, like the sparkle that's happening here, these rose gold chrome flakes mixed with black microflakes, and then the sprinkling of silver reflective glitter. There are so many components in here that can play with light, shifting and reflecting. I think this one would be magical as it shifts from natural light into artificial lighting, shifting light. I mean, I think this one out in the wild would be something else. I'm also really interested in the fact that I'm guessing this one has more of maybe a clear base. It doesn't really say about the base. These components may just be suspended in a clear base. But the coverage of this polish looks outstanding. I haven't seen any evidence of any of the swatcher's visible nail lines at this point, and for me, that really isn't much of a deciding factor, but I am impressed with potentially the coverage here. Yes, this just might be one of those polishes where, because of the quantity of components happening in here, the variety of the components, they may just layer up on top of one another to provide that type of opacity that a lot of people find desirable. I do kind of wonder about this one, and potentially if it does have, as I'm suspecting, maybe a clear base, I am kind of wondering about its topper potential. Now, I guess the thing is, if it does have quite a dense concentration of all these different elements, its topper potential would be more minimal because the opacity of the polish itself would kind of blur what's underneath. Although maybe even just applied in one coat over top of something, you'd get that pow of all the different components and then saving the polish a little bit by putting a different polish underneath to just smooth it out. I don't know. I think this one could be really quite interesting. I think this is another one where maybe I should do a little bit of research and try to find some video swatch footage of this polish just to be sure that I know exactly what I would be getting. I think it is clear based, but I can't be sure. I do really love it though. The opacity, the coverage, and I love here on the right, you're kind of seeing the swatcher tilting the nails so that you get that light play bouncing off the nails. You can really see how reflective, refractive this one is. There are certainly a lot of good things happening with this polish, and this one is another one that I'm very interested in this month. This flaky polish with reflective glitter is by Danglefoot Nail Polish. Look for me by the moonlight. This deep vampy polish, we've got yet another one, which actually kind of adds up leading into fall and Halloween. This one is by Hula Moon, and this one is called This Wine Is Awful, Get Me Another. This one is a capped offering with only 200 being made available. Hula Moon continues their A Love Letter to Moira series. This Wine Is Awful, Get Me Another is a red to black duochrome with a small amount of linear hollow. This one is a series by Hula Moon that's been going on for several months, and I've been following it very closely. As I've said, I am a Canadian, and Love Letter to Moira. Catherine O'Hara, who played Moira, was quite a Canadian treasure, and it still is surprising to me that she's gone, and in a way gone too early. She's such a Canadian treasure of an actress. And anyway, I've been following this series very closely because every time I see one of these polishes and I take a look at the polish name, I mean, it gives me all the feels and brings me back to the incredible catalog of work that Catherine O'Hara produced in her lifetime, bringing joy to people throughout the world. So back to this polish though. This one is a red to black duochrome, multi-chrome polish. And this one has an amount of linear hollow. So for me, that's actually a different element compared with anything else that I have in my collection that would have this type of base. I actually came into the indie polish world after the big onslaught of red to black multi-chrome or duochrome polishes. I do own the iconic ILNP Eclipse, the original version without any hollow added, and I do love that polish. I do own, I think, 2 other polishes that fall into the red to black duochrome family, but none of them, to my knowledge, have this linear hollow aspect to it. That would create this lovely sparkle. It says there's a small amount of linear hollow. It would create the sparkle, but it would also give that effect of rainbows off the nails to a point. I'm sure it would be a little more subtle with just a small amount of the linear hollow added, but I'm sure it would be there. And that would make this polish quite unique and a wonderful addition to my collection. It's funny, in this picture right here, it actually doesn't look like that small an amount of linear hollow at all. It actually looks to be reasonably prominent. I get it. It's not loaded with linear hollow, but still, I mean, I think that is quite a generous amount. I am seeing, especially on the swatcher's middle finger, I am seeing a lot of that sparkle happening from the hollow. Oh, and of course, that deep, moody depth that you get with the red to black duochrome polish, it still looks magical to me. I should really wear the polishes that I have more often, and I would love to add this one. I think actually with the addition of linear hollow, it would add that extra layer of interest that would make me want to wear this type of a polish, a deep, vampy, red to black duochrome, a little bit more often. That linear hollow could be quite an interesting factor. I'm loving the look of this polish. I've been adoring this series, and I've collected almost every single one so far in this Hula Moon series. This one is another very strong contender this month, and most likely coming home with me if I place an order. This lovely red to black duochrome with a small amount of linear hollow. This one is by Hula Moon. This wine is awful. Get me another. Speaking of series that I'm following, this is another one where I've managed to collect almost every single one. This one is by Jen & Berries, and this one is called Where Are My Eyelashes and What Is This Hair on My Chin? This one is another capped offering, and scrolling down, it does say that there's only 300 of these being made available this month. Jen & Berries continues their The Doomsday Guide for the Female Body series. Hair loss and, well, gain are a common perimenopause symptom. You may have had thick, luscious lashes and hair on your head in your glorious youth, but be prepared to freak out due to the amount of mascara you must now use, plus the vast amounts of hair you find at the bottom of your shower tub. It's especially rude because while the hair on your head, eyebrows, and lashes are busy betraying you, new hairs can start appearing everywhere at random. Inside noses, ears, and yes, that clinger on your chin. Where Are My Eyelashes and What Is This Hair on My Chin? Has a deep neon blue base with iridescent purple, pink, and green blue flakes with black flakes. I think I've said it every single month that I've added Jen & Berries to my wish list within this series. But this is probably one of my favorite series that has ever happened through Hella Handmade Creations. I am so here for this series. I am so thankful for Jen & Berries because she is getting people to talk openly through nail polish about women's health. And it's amazing to me. We women are not a new species. We have been around since humanity. And it's amazing to me that still there is so much about aging, about perimenopause, menopause that remains a mystery. So much about women's health as we approach or are in this phase of life, it just hasn't been openly talked about. And I'm so thankful that I'm in a generation right now where we are not making these issues taboo. And I'm so thankful for Jen & Berries for bringing this series out into the indie nail polish world, and I just wish that the conversation would go broader and wider and even more open. So all I can do month by month is to continue to mention these polishes on my channel, add them to my wish list, and commit to purchasing them. I've actually only missed one at this point in the series, and it's not because I didn't love it. It's actually because there was one month that I just had to skip purchasing. It was a budget issue. And I mean, that's the responsible thing to do, but I am going to try my best for as long as this series runs, and I hope it runs forever, to purchase every single one any month that I am making a purchase, just because I want to support what Jen & Barry's is doing here. So back to the nail polish though. This is such a wonderful, vibrant blue. I love that it was actually described as being a neon. This one is incredibly vibrant. You can see how bright it is, even in a still photograph. The addition of these components as well is such a wonderful breath of fresh air. I do have to admit, neons are a colorway that I really tend to wear mainly only in the summertime. But I have the feeling that the addition of all these different components within this neon base, this is going to change the landscape of this neon for me. I think it makes it instantly more wearable for my life. At work, I am an elementary teacher. I can pretty much wear anything. There are no real dress code or limits in terms of what we can wear on our nails. But there are some times when I do feel the need to be a little bit more professional. Neons tend to be a colorway that I don't wear too much at work, but I do think that the addition of all these flakies, including that anchoring element of some of those black flakies, I think that instantly tones down something that could otherwise be perhaps a little bit bright for the workplace for some people. I think that some of these components really do add something to make it more versatile. There are quite a few blues that I find versatile throughout the year. Now, this one, I think I'd have to see it in person to really know. I mean, if it is described as a neon, this one could maybe still be more of a summer type of polish for me. I think this one could be a really surprising pick in the winter months. Something that has that blue icy aspect to it, and then some of the grounding with the black flakes as well as the iridescent flakes that we're seeing. But with the vibrance of that neon base, I think that could be a really interesting, fun pick for the winter, not just a neon for the summer. I do have a few questions about exactly how this one might fit in my life, but I do know I love this series by Jen & Barry's. I can very safely say that I think it is my favorite ever in Hella Handmade Creations, and I've been a Hella Handmade Creations customer since April 2022. I do stand by that if I'm making a purchase this month, this one will be in my shopping cart, and it will be my number one pick just for the sake of what this stands for. Seeing this series, it makes me want to, as a Canadian, it's a tough thing to do, but it makes me want to shop directly through Jen & Barry's as well, through their own website, just to throw a little bit more support this company's way. I love what they're doing here. This vibrant blue flaky polish is by Jen & Barry's Where Are My Eyelashes and What Is This Hair on My Chin? This refreshingly light colored polish. This one is by MJ Lacquer, and this one is from the Hellaween shop, and this one's called You've Been Booed. And this one is another capped offering with only 100 being made available. That's another quite small cap. MJ Lacquer has created a polish for Hellaween. You've Been Booed is a yellow crelly with green undertones, black and red UCC flakes, and orange iridescent flakes. And it says it's also complemented with Aurora Shimmer. Even though this one is a paler yellow crelly, there is a lot happening here with this polish. I'm clicking into this swatch photo right away because it is this shimmer that is really standing out in this particular swatch photo. That Aurora Shimmer has such an interesting effect washing over this yellow crelly. It's quite a pale looking yellow crelly that I'm seeing. It's a lovely luminescent look. Here as well, I'm finding that at this angle, you're still seeing that shimmer, and I can see a little bit better here what's happening with the flakes. The black and red UCC flakes, also orange iridescent flakes. I think the two paired would create such an interesting shift as flakes become more and less visible as your hand shifts through changing light. I think that would be a really lovely effect. Ooh, the glow that I'm seeing here, I think that's some of the flakies that I'm seeing, which complement the Aurora Shimmer so beautifully. It's got that same type of glow, I think, maybe a little bit coordinating the orange iridescent flakes and the Aurora Shimmer. It would really add a little bit of that glow and fire to the nails. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here from this swatch photo. This is another one where even though this polish is from the Hellaween shop, Halloween themed technically, I can see this one being a lot more versatile in my life. Sure, Halloween, absolutely fall. And yet there's something about this one with the yellow crelly aspect. This one is an interesting take for me of like sunshine on the nails. I could see myself being drawn to this polish quite a bit in the winter. That glow from the orange iridescent flakes and the Aurora Shimmer has almost a burning ember quality about it. And then this pale yellow giving a little bit of sunshine on the nails. I think this would be so lovely in the winter time. I also see this one being a spring and summer polish too. It's got a floral aspect to it, to my eye anyway. I'm really liking this one, and because I can see myself pulling a polish like this all 4 seasons of the year, not just Halloween, this one is actually another strong contender on my wish list. I also feel like MJ Lacquer is underrepresented in my collection. The ones that I own by MJ Lacquer are spectacular, and I would love to add this one to my collection. This unique and fresh yellow crelly is by MJ Lacquer. This one's from the Hellaween shop, and this one is called You've Been Booed. This brilliant shiny polish is by Night Owl Lacquer. This one is called Halloween Apples. Night Owl Lacquer continues their Psych series. Halloween Apples is a dark orange jelly filled with glowy large particle shimmer that shifts orange, yellow, green, as well as orange and red holographic micro shreds. Luckily, there is no availability cap for this one. Orange is one of my very favorite colors in life, and I do find that orange nail polishes are a little bit more rare than many of the other polishes that tend to be a little bit more popular and more prevalent. So anytime I see an orange nail polish, I really do pause, take an extra look, and think about how it might fit in my life. Oranges do tend to be prevalent in the fall and around Halloween season in the indie polish world, but then after that, they kind of disappear. I know that I love orange polishes in the fall and around Halloween season. In fact, I wear oranges a lot during that time. I also do like wearing orange throughout the rest of the year, and actually, I can see this polish being an appealing one beyond the fall and Halloween season. I really love the shine that we're seeing here with this polish. You've got the shimmer and we've got the micro shreds happening that are holographic. So lots of sparkle and shift happening in there. And I think that's even made more prominent by the fact that this one has a dark orange jelly base. So that jelly base would allow all those components to really show through that type of pond effect where you can see the components from layer 1 through to layer 2. And if you may need a third layer, which actually Night Owl Lacquer, they tend to have a pretty solid formula. You may not need a third coat, but if you do want a third coat, you get to see 3 layers of all those components, seeing right through from the top layer all the way through to the nail. Really an interesting effect. Here in this swatch photo, I'm seeing that holographic micro shred aspect a little bit more prominently. It actually has an effect here, to my eye anyway, is almost looking like delicate flower petals suspended in a nail polish. I'm really seeing it in this swatch photo on this swatcher's pinky finger. It reminds me of maybe really delicate, like marigold petals. I could see myself not just wearing a polish like this one in the fall and around Halloween, but I could see myself wearing a polish like this one in the summer too. It's got a lovely warm glow. It might just be me, but I am seeing that sort of floral aspect to this polish as well, which to me makes it a little bit more versatile than just fall. I'm excited by that. And Night Owl Lacquer formulas work so beautifully for me. I really have fallen in love with every single polish I've purchased from them, and I do own quite a few at this point. I would love to add this one. I don't really know how many oranges I have from them, which is maybe a little bit surprising. So I'd love to add this polish to my collection. This wonderful orange is by Night Owl Lacquer Hellaween Apples. This light and ethereal polish is by Polish, and this one is called Glitter in the Air. Polish continues their revamped vintage series with a polish inspired by Deborah Lippman's 2011 Glitter in the Air. The maker says, "I remember when this came out, I was immediately obsessed. I wore it on vacation with my mom, and I remember the flight attendant complimenting me on it and then telling her coworkers to look at it when we got off the plane, which at the time convinced me that this was the most magical polish ever made." Glitter in the Air is a soft sky blue packed with glowing pink, gold, green shifting shimmer. And scrolling down to the bottom here, it does say there is no cap, so that's another great thing. This series by Polish is actually teaching me a lot about nail polish history. I find that as a Canadian, I haven't always had access to the same quantity of brands, the same range of brands that people in other parts of the world tend to have. In 2011, I was pretty early on in my career, so I was really only purchasing drugstore and dollar store type brands at this point, with maybe the odd splurge on like an OPI or something like that from like a salon supply store. Deborah Lippmann in 2011 would have been, in my mind anyway, very much a luxury brand, and I didn't have that kind of budget, and so I didn't know a whole lot about this polish range. I do know of Deborah Lippmann polishes from a little bit later on, but I certainly didn't know about this polish. And boy, I kind of wish I had, because this is a lovely look. This shimmer in this base is so light, ethereal, and magical. Because it's a soft sky blue, when I first saw it, I really thought like, whoa, what a lovely contrast between this polish and then all the richer, vampier, more fall Halloween leaning polishes that we're seeing. This one does stand out in striking contrast to the rest of the offerings this month. So my mind immediately kind of went to spring, like the contrasting season to fall. But with this light ethereal type polish and with it being a shimmer, this one for me would also be an all season of the year type polish. It really does look like a breath of fresh air for the nails. The fact that it's called Glitter in the Air, it does have a light, airy look. I mentioned spring already. Also, I think this would play so beautifully in the summer sun, even as fall. Like, it's a light and contrasty look to what I would normally be drawn to. And definitely, I think there's a bit of an iciness for winter. This shimmer looks quite prominent, and I think it would shift so beautifully in shifting lighting. Now, I might be mistaken here, but I think I am seeing a little bit of sheerness. I think that on this swatcher's middle and ring finger, I am seeing a little bit of visible nail line. So I have the feeling that a light polish like this one may not have complete full coverage, although maybe layering it up in 2 or 3 coats, maybe you could have the shimmer kind of mask out any visible nail line if that was an issue for you. For me, I don't mind the lightness and the sheerness. I actually find that it adds to the ethereal nature. Yes, here too, I am seeing some visible nail line. For me, that's not really a factor. It's just something that I need to be aware of. I think that this one is a lighter, sheerer, more ethereal polish than maybe some of the others being offered this month. It is light, it is beautiful, and I think it would be a very versatile one in my collection. I like it a lot. I don't really have like an emotional pull towards this one. I do have an extensive shimmer polish collection. As I said, it is one of the finishes I do tend to be drawn to most often. It's easy to apply, it's easy to remove, and you get incredible results when you wear it. So I will have to see perhaps how this polish compares with some others that I already own. This one at this point is a very tempting one on my preliminary wish list, but it still remains a maybe. I'll have to see how the rest of the wish list goes and do some collection diving to see how this one really compares. It is beautiful though. This light, airy polish is by Polish, Glitter in the Air. This nail polish is also by Polish, such a contrast from their previous offering. This one is from the Hellaween shop this month, and this one is called Zombie Zest. Polish has created a polish for Hellaween to pair with their revamped vintage series, inspired by China Glaze's 2010 Zombie Zest. This shade was my first Prugly obsession. I loved it so much that I wore it to my college graduation. Zombie Zest is an olive green jelly packed with iridescent golden copper green shifting flakes. And luckily, there is no availability cap for this one. Okay, now this polish appeals for pretty much every single reason. So first of all, I am a green lover. I wear greens all throughout the year, and this one is really the first green polish I think that I've added to my wish list this month, which is pretty amazing considering this one is the Hellaween shop. Often, murky greens do make an appearance quite a bit around fall Halloween lead up. So this one, right away, I added to my wish list for that reason without even reading the description. Then, though, I read the description, and this one cemented its place high up on my preliminary wish list. So this one's inspired by China Glaze's 2010 Zombie Zest. By the time I found out about this polish, it was pretty much nowhere to be seen in my area. China Glaze is actually not as easy to come by in Ontario, Canada. Also, I didn't find out about China Glaze stockist in Canada until I started collecting indie polishes. Now that I'm aware of them, this polish is nowhere to be seen. So this is really my chance to get sort of a dupe for China Glaze's 2010 Zombie Zest. I love unique greens, and this one is certainly that. I don't think I have anything quite like this one in my collection. I love that this one has these iridescent flakes in this olive green jelly base. Like, it's just got such a lovely look. And I think being in the olive green jelly base, you'd get a lovely pond effect, again, created by the layers of flakies that would just act to blur any sort of a visible nail line with a jelly base. I am really excited about this polish. I am thrilled that Polish has decided to create their own version of China Glaze's 2010 Zombie Zest for the Hellaween shop. I think it's perfect timing, especially considering they're doing this revamped vintage series. I am really excited about this one, and I can't wait to add it to my collection. This incredible green is by Polish. This is from the Hellaween shop, Zombie Zest. This incredibly elegant polish is by Sassy Sauce Polish, Unreasonably Elegant. This one is another capped pre-order offering with only 200 being made available. Sassy Sauce Polish continues their couture, shoes, and accessories series. Unreasonably Elegant has a milky ivory base glowing with golden micro glitter and warm champagne golden shimmer. This polish is so perfectly named. This one is Elegance on the nails. I am loving how delicate this one is. It's got that milky ivory base. That's exactly what I'm seeing, what is described here in the description box. And then the undeniable twinkle of the golden micro glitter. It is so light and elegant. This would be such a beautiful special occasion type of polish, but also an unexpected little bit of glamour just for everyday wear, I think, as well. And then the addition of this warm champagne golden shimmer, like, I'm really seeing all of that in this polish. I can't say enough about how lovely this one is. It is just supremely beautiful. I could see myself wearing a polish like this one all throughout the year, especially for special occasions. I tend to go see the ballet quite often. I could see myself loving wearing this one on my nails to something like the ballet, to the symphony, but also just for a little bit of opulence and elegance anytime you need to feel a little bit special. This color does seem to have a little bit of a lightness and maybe a sheerness, but with all that shimmer as well, I think that the shimmer does act to maybe mask that visible nail line just a bit. I kind of wonder if this one is quite a buildable polish, creating just an ethereal wash or a little bit of layering to give a little bit more coverage. I think that would be well worth trying out. Yes, here we can really see the potency of that shimmer. I think this swatcher has done a great job of just showcasing how bright and brilliant that shimmer can be. And I think you may actually find that if you did go with this polish, that shimmer might act to mask that visible nail line. I think I can still see just barely the swatcher's visible nail line, but that shimmer, as I said, is really acting to mask it. This is quite something. the fact that I'm loving what I see, but also I'm starting to picture this nail polish in my life already. This one is another very top contender. I think this one is beautiful. I have nothing like it at all. And I love the elegance that the golden micro glitter is bringing to this milky ivory-based polish. It is something completely unique and so special. I would love to add this to my collection. This lovely ivory colored polish is by Sassy Sauce Polish, Unreasonably Elegant. Now this one is a really dramatic solar polish with all its variation. This one is by Victorian Varnish. This is their Hellaween offering called Sunset Sorcery. And yes, in fact, it is a solar polish. This one is another capped offering, and actually scrolling down here, I'm going to make sure I'm seeing that correctly. There's only 150 of these being made available. Boy, a lot of these polishes really do have small availability caps, so that's something that I'll have to watch out for. Victorian Varnish has created a polish for Hellaween. Sunset Sorcery is a solar polish. It is a bright marigold yellow indoors, raspberry outside, with transition shades in orange tones. Pink peach golden shimmer running throughout with UCC flakies and ghost flakes. It is the contrast here that absolutely has my jaw on the floor. It is completely unique to anything I've ever seen before. Something that I'm actually really loving here is how in its yellow state, so in the indoor state without the UV effect influencing the polish, I love how you're really seeing these contrasting flakes jump out from this brilliant yellow base. It looks like flower petals to me. Also, it could look a little bit like fall leaves. So for me, I see this and I think for sure summer, fall, maybe even spring. Kind of reminds me a little bit of daffodils coming out in the spring. Then when you're looking at the UV state, the outdoor state where the UV is shining on the nails, I find that those flakes really kind of recede. And what I'm seeing more prominently is the shimmer. So it's a very shifty and interesting polish. Those different kinds of components take their turn to be in the forefront, but then also recede. I think this one would be really incredible in real life. Here we're seeing this polish without the UV effect, and I'm loving the color of this inviting, optimistic yellow. 2026 in my life has been a little bit of a challenge at times, and I've been very drawn to wearing yellow nail polish. So anytime I see something with a sunshiny yellow, I invariably add it to a wish list or take a little bit more time with it, because I'm finding that wearing yellow on my nails is such a mood booster. It's sunshine for the nails. It has an optimism and it brings me light to my life. It's amazing how a nail polish can have that effect for me. Totally uplifting. And here we're seeing this polish in transition. And I am really liking that we're seeing exactly what this polish is named, Sunset Sorcery. You're seeing that sunset effect across the nails. Sunrise, sunset, sunshine for the nails has been a favorite look of mine for 2026. Uplifting, interesting, and so inviting. The fact that this one is so unique and it's a solar polish that would bring me so much enjoyment, this one is a pretty strong contender on my wish list this month as well. It's getting a little dangerous. There are so many unique offerings. And I think here we're really seeing one of those in-between states, that sort of orange tone. I love orange, and I love here we're really seeing that base. I'm seeing the shimmer and I'm seeing the flakes. I have the feeling that that magical in-between tone, that orange, would just have my heart. And it's described here as being in shaded outdoor light. Kudos to the swatcher for actually indicating the type of lighting that's being used. I find that very helpful when I'm shopping. I have the feeling that this like in-between orange phase would be such a magical moment for me, being an orange lover. I am an elementary teacher as well, and I don't have too many solar polishes in my collection. I have a few more thermals in my collection. And it is always so funny when I'm out on yard duty every day, especially on sunny days, kids coming up to me on yard duty saying, "Can I see your nails?" Always show them my nails. I almost always have something on my nails. And then, "Does it change color?" Because I do love at work playing around with these colors, whether they're solars or thermals. And it brings me a whole lot of enjoyment. And I know it brings some joy to the kids that I work with as well. Most recently, I was working with grade 3 students. So, like, they're mostly sort of 8 and 9 years old. Some of them at the very beginning of the year might be 7 as well. So, there's that wonder aspect going on as well. And invariably, you end up talking about these science concepts as well, that it's activated by UV light and what causes that. Does a light bulb cause it? Does the sun cause it? And then doing experiments as we're there, outdoors on a break when I'm doing yard duty at a recess time. Anyway, it's just so much fun. I could see this one really fitting into my life, into my lifestyle, and just being so uplifting. This is the type of look that I've been so drawn to, and I truly have nothing like this one. This incredibly unique solar polish is by Victorian Varnish. This is their Hellaween offering called Sunset Sorcery. The final item on my wish list, it's been all nail polish items this month. So the final item, this one is by Witch Cult Nail Lacquer, and this one is called The Lion and the Lamb. This one is another capped offering with only 300 being made available. Witch Cult Nail Lacquer continues their Twilight series. The Lion and the Lamb has a smoky pink base with a red-orange shimmer. That description is so simple, yet I find that this polish, this swatch photo, is so achingly beautiful. Something that I love about the indie nail polish world is how even the simplest looks, you figure this is a fairly neutral color nail polish, this one is breathtaking. The fact that you really can't find this type of look in a drugstore. This is just jaw-dropping to me, and so much of what made me fall in love with indie polish so quickly. This one has a smoky pink base, and it's got that incredible red-orange shimmer running through it. The smokiness of this polish instantly makes this one a year-round polish for me. There's something about that slightly smoky factor, that grayed out look, that instantly makes any color kind of an all season of the year polish for me. It makes it so wearable and a little bit grounded, a little bit muted. And then this shimmer running through it. This is so, so pretty. This polish is a neutral, but so much better. It looks like it has a lovely richness and depth to it, and it actually looks like it has very good coverage. Here we are seeing a little bit more of the swatcher's visible nail line. It's still a really beautiful effect, though. There's a magic to that shimmer. It's like the perfect glow for a neutral color nail polish. This one kind of has my heart stopping. It's perfection in a bottle. A polish like this one I think could be in any time of year, any type of occasion polish. I think this one would be definitely like a your nails, but way, way, way better kind of look. Shimmer polishes in my life are some of the most wearable, being, again, easy to apply, easy to remove. But this one, that shimmer, it is subtle, but yet so eye-catching in the most just delicate way. It's so tasteful. Witch Cult Nail Lacquer is quite underrepresented in my collection. I think I maybe only own about 5 from them, and I really should own more. The ones that I own are spectacular. The formulas, the overall look, I love them. So I would love to add this one to my collection as well. I had to click into this one as well. It looks like this photo may be taken outdoors in direct sunlight. You can really see the effect of that shimmer. It is a wildly significant shimmer. It catches the light so beautifully. The overall look is wonderful. I'm kind of in love with every single swatch photo that I'm seeing. It looks equally good on every swatcher. When I see that, I can be pretty sure that I'm going to love it when I get it on my own nails. This polish for me is incredibly wearable and also incredibly tempting. This lovely Your Nails But Better type of polish is by Witch Cult Nail Lacquer, The Lion and the Lamb. So that's it this month for my 19-item all nail polish preliminary wish list. There is a huge range of different types of polishes that I'm seeing here in my wish list, and a lot of that is due to the fact that there is one of the specialty shops also available this month, being the Hellaween 2026 offerings, the Halloween themed polishes. So I am seeing a couple of really interesting neutrals right here, the Witch Cult and the Sassy Sauce. I know that there's a couple of solars that I've got on my wish list as well. Some totally unique polishes though, ones that are complete outliers from any others on my wish list or any others in my collection. We've got quite a few dark and vampy polishes though this month as well. The Hula Moon is one of those dark and vampy ones. The Cleona Cosmetics Hellaween polish, Black Widow, is another one that's quite dark and vampy. And we have a couple of brighter reds as well that have made my wish list with the Bee's Knees lacquer as well as the 1422 designs. There's that second solar polish over here with the Arcana lacquer. Some really interesting polishes, so many standouts that are totally unique. The one that I'm sort of, I don't know, I'm like in love with, but not quite sure what to do with. The one that's maybe most confusing to me at this point might be this by Danny Vienna. I love it for its Halloween fun, but I do sort of worry that it may not fit in other aspects of my year. It may just be only Halloween. So I have to be careful about that, even though I love it. I'm also seeing quite a few magnetics on my wish list and a lot with reflective glitter. These two right here have reflective glitter. There's so much variation this month in my wish list. I'm pretty excited about that, but sometimes all the variation makes some of the decision-making process that much more difficult. There are a lot of standouts. There's a lot of creativity this month. I have a lot of thinking to do before the shop opens on August the 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. This is just a preliminary wish list at this point, but there are a couple of standouts that I thought I would commend. I think first of all, I've got to give one for artistic merit to the by Danny Vienna Hellaween offering Carving Jack. I just think this is the perfect interpretation of jack-o'-lantern on the nails. This is so, I don't know, abstract, but also very much not. They've interpreted the colorway, the geometry so beautifully. And I think that this one receiving an Artistic Merit Award is very well deserved. I love the look of this one. I don't know that I can add it to my collection, but I think that its artistic merit is something that absolutely should be commended. So way to go by Danny Vienna for producing this work of art. I think a second shout out I'd really like to give, a second award, would be for most unexpected discovery. This one for me, it's not necessarily like the prettiest polish, but it's the one that's most surprising to me. And I think it has to do with this finish. This Cuticula Starling Stunner. There is something about the variety in what we're seeing with the shifting shimmer and the red holographic sparkle within this base. The sparkle here is undeniable. I am so intrigued by this formula, and I'm so intrigued and impressed by the quality of the sparkle that we're seeing even in a still swatch photo. That hand in the background there, the swatcher's right hand that's holding the bottle, it is blurred, that hand that's set back in the background. And that's on purpose. It's so you can see the red holographic aspect, that sparkle in a still photograph. You can see the sparkle in the in-focus hand in the foreground. You can really see it in that background hand as well. I think that in real life, this formula would be something else. And I am really curious to know if you know anything about this type of formula from Cuticula. Is this a new formula? Or do they have another polish release perhaps that uses this formula? I'd love to know because I'm blown away by the look of this one. This is an unexpected discovery for me. And a third acknowledgement that I want to make, there's so many this month that really deserve acknowledgement, but this is truly the one that has most stayed with me. This is Sassy Sauce Polish's Unreasonably Elegant. There is something about this polish that I think makes me most want to own it. This one represents definitely a gap I have in my collection. This is an elegant polish. I can see it as an all season of the year polish, a special occasion polish, but also an any time of the year polish when you just want to feel special. It's a little bit of jewels for the nails. There's a subtlety, but yet such a meaningful golden sparkle. So much of what it is for me with this polish isn't so much about the inspiration, it's that I look at it and I can just see so many different moments in my life where I could see myself going directly to this nail polish. I think it would be well loved, well worn, and a little bit of really special indulgence, and kind of self-care in a way. Just those moments when you want to feel special. It's almost like a small secret indulgence. Yes, I could see myself wearing this one for special occasions, but I could also see myself wearing this when I just want to elevate how I'm feeling. It's a little bit blingy, but it certainly isn't too much. There's still a lovely, elegant subtlety about it. I just find this one magical, and I would love to add this one to my collection. This has definitely stayed with me the most. So that's it for my 19 item preliminary wish list. All of these items this month are nail polishes. It is such an artistic month. The shop opens this month, August 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it remains open until August 21st at 11:59 p.m. Hawaiian Time. Also this month, not only do we have the regular monthly offerings, but we also have the Hellaween shop for 2026. That's the special edition Halloween themed shop where some makers have offered additional items. There are also a few makers that have encore offerings this month, polishes that were fan favorites or maker favorites that they've brought back to offer again. And there's also a huge overstock section. They have overstock from previous months, and the new releases for the overstock section will be from April 2026. So if you happen to miss that month and you want to see some of the items that are left over from that month, those April 2026 offerings will be released when the shop opens August 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. If some of those offerings are appealing to you, just keep in mind that the newly released April 2026 overstock items, those ones may be in very small quantities. Sometimes there's 5 items or less that they have still hanging around at the Handmade Creations headquarters. So if any of those newly released overstock items do catch your eye, you may want to consider making your purchase right when the shop opens on August the 14th to make sure that you don't miss out. So those are the 19 polishes that captured my imagination this month. Whether they ultimately find their way into my collection or simply remain beautiful discoveries, I always enjoy taking the time to appreciate the creativity and artistry behind these collaborations. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which polishes stood out to you? Are there any hidden gems I should take another look at before the shop opens? You can add all your comments down below and we can continue on the conversation long after. Thank you so much for spending part of your day exploring with me. If you enjoyed this month's catalog, I'd love to have you back for future discoveries here on Lacquerography. Consider subscribing, and that way you won't miss out on any of the fun. Until next time, keep discovering new inspirations and rediscovering your collection.